Today's gonna be all about abs, and we're gonna be going through an ab routine which has been absolutely next level for me and my ab development, getting ready to appear on stage. And to make everything that much easier, I have created this entire routine in our Buff app, which you can find this exact routine if you download the app, link in description. You can follow along, you can track the workouts. It's great since this is hypertrophy based. You can use progressive overload, track your times with the isometric exercises like the planks. You can see me do it in the community, and you could just copy the workout if you'd like. So download the app if you haven't, give it a shot. Love to see you in there. We've got a really active community, and it sure as hell keeps me inspired, especially as I get closer and closer to the competition date. I'm gonna be getting started off with hanging leg raises. This is a compound movement. The primary muscle group being worked is the rectus abdominis, with the secondary being the obliques. I would highly recommend getting some of these handy little stabilizers for your arm while performing this workout. You can do it without it, but then grip strength really factors into the exercise. I'm not really focusing on grip strength right now. I'm really just trying to focus on my abs, so these come in handy for me. It's a pretty simple exercise. What you want to do is just hang on, contract your abdominal muscles and flex at the hips. You want to raise your legs upwards and let your hips rotate towards your belly button, and then go ahead and slowly return to the beginning position. Controlling your speed really helps with this one. You don't want to start swinging too much, which I can have a problem with, so that's why slow and controlled works really well for me. And what I'll do is I'll exhale as I reach the top position and inhale as I lower my legs back down. And I'm going to be doing 4 sets, and every single set is going to be 25 reps. This one is just one of my all-time favorite abs exercises, and it's really sets the bar for the rest of the workout. That's why I like to start with the hanging leg raises. Now, when it comes to your midsection development, there are 2 ways to look at how you want to train. You can focus on strength or abdominal hypertrophy. Focusing on strength would be considered core work with exercises like suitcase carries, Palloff press, glute bridge, and Supermans. Developing core strength will bring in multiple muscle groups like your lower back, glutes, and lats. But if you're looking to target abdominal development, the exercises will primarily pinpoint the rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, and obliques. But these 2 methods of training can be combined for looks and strength. It's all gonna come down to what your goals and priorities are. So having said all that, my goal at this point in time, it's gonna be all about the appearance, baby. Next, I'm gonna be moving on to the cable crunches. I love the cable crunch variation. It's kind of, to me, the opposite of what we were just performing with the leg raise. Now we're flexing in our thoracic spine and we're pulling the weight down, really getting that great abdominal crunch in the bottom position. I like to find a weight that's not too heavy, so I'm not straining. I'm not really so much about progressive overload or hitting new PRs at this point. So it's just something that I'm feeling good about when I hit the 15th rep. And I'm doing 4 sets of 15 reps. Again, the primary muscle group worked is going to be the rectus abdominis, with the second being the obliques. And again, you want to go ahead and really focus on that flexion in your thoracic spine as you pull the weight down. That's a really big one. You can see some people just kind of like jerk it down. You really want to do that bend, and you're really going to feel it in the abs as you perform that movement. And a nice little tip there is just keep your hips stable. Don't let the hips extend and flex. You want to focus on isolating the flexion and extension in your thoracic spine. That is a really big one, and that a lot of times is where you'll see the mistake being made. Moving on to the weighted Russian twist now. This one is a really good endurance and stability exercise. Again, it's working the rectus abdominis and the obliques. Stability will factor into this one. So what you want to go ahead and do is sit on the floor with feet together, knees slightly bent, and you're going to want to slowly recline until you really feel your abdominals contract. This is very important. You want to bring your arms with your elbows slightly bent in front of of you and twist your trunk from side to side. Now, don't just move your arms from side to side, move your entire trunk. On this one, I'm doing 3 sets of 30 repetitions or 15 reps on my left side and 15 reps on my right side. I'm using a medicine ball, it's 12 pounds. Again, not really focusing so much on weight, just enough to really engage that core and get that great abdominal activation. Now I'm going to be doing another abdominal exercise which utilizes a weight, and that's going to be the Otus Up. Now, I don't know Otus, I don't know why he needed to get up, but I do thank them for this exercise because it is one that I really enjoy. The addition of the weight being put over your head works a little bit of the deltoids as well, which I appreciate. It makes it a very rewarding exercise for me. And as with all the other exercises up until this point, you're really gonna be focusing on, of course, the rectus abdominis. When performing this one, you really wanna try to find something to anchor your feet if possible, just due to the fact that you will be having the weight. It's a nice way to counterbalance everything. You're gonna wanna go ahead and lay on the ground face up with your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. You're gonna go ahead and flex your spine as you contract your abdominal muscles and bring the weight overhead as you bring your upper body more into the vertical position. You're gonna go ahead and roll back down. And what I typically like to do is I like to keep a little bit of contraction in there. So it's almost like a little bit of a reverse plank. I'm not completely laying back down on the ground. I'm constantly keeping tension on my abdominals. And that's another reason why I really like the Otus Ups. You're gonna wanna keep your movement smooth and controlled throughout the entire exercise, and you're good to go, man. If you haven't performed a weighted Otus Up, I would highly recommend you give it a shot. You can even do it body weight if you'd like. It's just an excellent overall abdominal movement. Definitely one of my favorites. Thank you, Otus. Every time you make a video on abs, of course, you'll have the comments saying you can't forget the nutrition as well, because that's how you end up being able to see the abs, which I 100% agree with. But one major thing people don't usually tell you, that if you're fair skinned, you also need the tan, man, because when you are basically the color of the moon, it is so hard to see the definition sometimes and all the hard work you put in. So maybe a little bit of a spray tan or something of that nature can really help those abs pop as well. And I'm saying all this because I am in dire need of that exact remedy myself at this moment. I'm looking extremely pale, and I'm gonna probably have to paint these suckers in order to truly see all the hard work that I've put in. Now we're gonna be moving on to some of the ab exercises that I'm utilizing really to get ready for the stage, really for that isometric contraction, the hold, the stabilization, just getting used to keeping my core tight, because that's gonna be a big factor, and I wanna make sure that I am prepped and ready to go. And vacuums were one of the classic abdominal techniques from the golden era, the silver era. It's not quite as popular as it used to be, but I'm really enjoying this one. Again, it's not so much in order to build your abs, it's just to get that proper posture and to get you ready for a lot of the poses that I'm gonna be doing, which will utilize the vacuum, such as like the front double bicep flex, the side chest, side tricep, all those positions where I'm gonna need to have my abs contracted, sucked in a little bit, and I don't wanna be caught off guard. And vacuums have been a great way to prepare me for that. What I do when I perform the vacuums is I'll just take a few deep breaths, and then I'll finally exhale fully. And once I'm fully exhaled, I'll imagine that I'm trying to bring my belly button into my spine. That is a really good visual trick for me. And what I try to do after that is like breathe behind the vacuum in a way. So I'm taking little breaths. I'm not completely holding my breath, but I'm not taking those big inhales and exhales using my gut. I'm just taking just enough so that I remain comfortable and my abs stay really contracted. And if you haven't performed these before, this is a whole new type of abdominal exercise. It's really fun. It seems a bit like a challenge, and I am up for the challenge. And I feel like I'm getting a little better every single time. And even if you don't want to compete, it's just a really great posture exercise and a way to keep abdominal workouts fresh. In regards to how often I'm doing a routine such as this, I am at this moment in time doing it 3 days a week. So I'm working out 4 days, and on my off days or my active rest, I'm doing this abdominal routine in addition to about 30 to 45 minutes of cardio. So even in my off days, I'm still doing some form of physical activity, which benefits me both physically and mentally because I love that sense of accomplishment. Idle hands are the devil's workshop, and that applies to buff dudes as well. When I don't have anything to do physically, I can sometimes feel like maybe I haven't accomplished anything. So by doing a little bit of this on my days off, I feel like I've gotten things done. I feel great mentally, but then also I'm seeing those physical benefits as well, which is amazing. Now moving on to my final ab exercise of the workout. It's everybody's favorite. It's planks. This is an isometric hold, which is really gonna help me for the stage, but planks are just amazing overall. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, they are great for stabilization, core strength. I would highly recommend them no matter the sport or specificity. If you haven't done them before, what you're gonna wanna go ahead and do is get into the push-up position, feet together, hands about shoulder width apart. You're gonna go ahead and bring your forearms to the ground. Now this is very important. Make sure your hips don't sag to the ground or push upwards to the sky. Keep a rigid and straight position. And you wanna focus on controlling your breathing. Here's something I used to do wrong when I did planks. I would just do a plank and that was it. I would just hold the plank basically like a stick in the mud for the allotted time and call it a day. Someone called me out years ago when they saw that in person. It was a trainer and he said, "You're not flexing." And I thought, what are you talking about? I'm doing a plank. And he goes, "No, you're doing a plank. You're not doing the plank. In order to do the plank, you want to just contract everything, your lats, your biceps, your glutes, your core. You want to squeeze every part of your body as hard as you could." And I was so happy he gave me that recommendation because it brought planks to a whole new level and it made them much more beneficial for me. So as you can see here, I am just squeezing the shit out of my body as I'm doing these planks. It makes it more difficult, but it has helped to bring me to the next level in regards to my core strength, my endurance and stamina, and I am very appreciative that now I have that knowledge and now that is the way that I perform my planks. Got a comment on the prior video as well wondering if this was a ball gag, and I am extremely offended by that comment. It is not. It's an oxygen restrictive hyperbaric echo chamber manipulation device. No, it's not. It's just the microphone. There we go. That's the Buff Dudes Competition Abs Workout. Once again, you can find this in our Buff app if you want to do it yourself. Follow along. The link is in description. It's all ready for you to give it a shot. I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna spend some time posing now because now that I've worked the abs, I need to do the poses where the ab contraction and strength really come into play. I'm almost there. The competition is getting closer and closer every single day, so I gotta pull everything together. It's go time. I'll see you in the next episode. Hope you've been enjoying it. Thank you for watching, and until then, stay buff.